The build up to the Nintendo Switch 2 has been crazy, to say the least. We've had some of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows out of everything that has happened over the course of the past 2 months. And I wanted to really quick summarize everything that's happened up to this point, given that the launch night for the Switch 2 is tomorrow, and then the actual launch day is in 2 days. Just to sort of recap and also to give my, I guess, opinion on how the Switch 2 will go, at least at launch, for the foreseeable future, given everything that's been happening. Starting out, of course, with the Direct that happened back in May? Was it May? Let me fact check that. It was April that we had that Direct. That Direct happened in April. Now, I have a whole analysis of this Direct up on my channel. So I won't touch on this too long, but there was a lot of good stuff shown off. Of course, you have Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Those are some of the first-party exclusives. Dustblood's coming next year, which Nintendo exclusive FromSoft game is crazy. And then, of course, those 5 seconds of Hollow Knight Silksong, which a lot of people were so mad we didn't get more than that. And then, of course, the whiplash afterwards of just how bad the pricing was. The hardware was not priced terribly. The games where the big problems really came from. Which $80 for Mario Kart Worlds. I mean, the rippling effect's already happening. We've seen it with Xbox. I have a video on that. Then, of course, the tariffs came in literally like a couple days after the Direct, if not the same day of the Directs. Which, I mean, worst timing possible. Which, I should mention, this whole Direct, like, I don't think Nintendo could have timed this Direct, this announcement, any worsely than it did. Kind of similar to how Animal Crossing New Horizons could not have been timed any better. The Switch 2 could not have been timed any worse. But anyway, those tariffs, of course, went into effect, which prompted Nintendo to delay pre-orders, which a lot of us were hoping for really bad news. And then, of course, they revealed the actual new pricing, which is just like all the accessories are going to be $5 more, and the console remains unchanged, launch date remains unchanged. So they did kind of leave the door open to potentially raise the price in the future, but given what we got at the time, it could have been a lot worse. Thankfully. And that kind of segues into our next, into the next big thing that happened, and that was Doug Bowser's marketing disaster, which, again, I have another video on this, where Doug Bowser basically spoke like Don Matrick and said, "Hey, hey, we have a cheaper product for people who can't afford it, and it's Switch One," which of course is basically what Don Matrick said about the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One in 2014. Full clip. I mean, look at my channel, or if you want to see just the clip itself, just punch "no internet buy 360" in YouTube or something. I don't know. But I'm not. I struggle to understand why Doug Bowser thought that would be a good idea, considering how well the Xbox saying that went over for Xbox and Don Matrick. I mean, also, I just mentioned both men worked at EA. That is not a joke. Both men worked at EA, which, I mean, birds of a feather, I guess. How could you have seen that Don Matrick saying that stuff didn't go so well for him, and why would you not be inclined to not do the same thing? It just doesn't make sense to me. And of course, the last big bit of news, and I did not make a video on this one. This was the the May 7th TOS updates, where Nintendo uh, put in their TOS that anyone who agrees waives their right to a class action lawsuit, and also there was also a clause that said that if you pirate or try to mod your system, they can just straight up brick it. Which that was the one I was the most worried about. Not that I was planning on modding any of my gear anyway, full disclosure, but I was more concerned, what if they accidentally brick my system? Because I guarantee they ain't gonna give a shit about it. Which apparently that does apply to Switch 1 as well as Switch 2. However, I did see, thanks to a video uploaded by Mudahar over at Some Ordinary Gamers, that he went over a couple of posts from modders or hackers who said that a couple of their findings. However, these findings did not have a source, so they could very easily be just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, like maybe people hired by Nintendo to spread false information. But alas, it does look like it's primarily hardware detected, not software detected, because they would like send signals through chips and send signals through chip on the system, and then the system would brick that way. So it might just be fully hardware based, but I ain't taking chances. Regardless, this is unethical, because for example, take the Switch for example, like Mudahari's example with a Steam Deck. Nintendo just doesn't own the Switch anymore. They sold it to me in April of 2023, and so this is they have no hand. This is my system to use the way I want to use it. Of course, I am choosing to use it the way that Nintendo intended. Something else that came from that video was that a lot of modders are saying it's going to be damn near impossible to hack the Switch 2. Which, I'll tell you this now, if you tell someone that something cannot be done or they are unable to do something, they're going to find a way to do it anyway. I guarantee Nintendo Switch 2 will be hacked at some points. I mean, this happened with the PlayStation 3. Sony was saying, hey, the PS3 is unhackable. 3 years later, people were hacking it. And you can literally just punch into Google how to make a homebrew PS3, and then there's like video tutorials on YouTube. Probably won't be the same for Switch 2, because Nintendo's probably going to take down those videos as soon as they get released. But regardless, So with all that, where do I stand on the Switch 2? So, or I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, will it be worth the money? And my answer to that would be, it's a maybe. It's a good, solid maybe if the Switch 2 is going to be worth the money. With all the stuff going around, yeah, this is very bad for not just Nintendo, but also us as the consumers. Mostly bad for us as the consumers, because we're the one having to put up with their shit. But I would say that if everything goes right, Switch 2 will be successful and it will be a good console. However, whether or not things will go right fully, it's a coin flip. Because another thing I forgot to touch on, apparently Switch 2 is not going to have Hall effect sticks. Apparently this was causing drift in the old Joy-Cons. But I'm sure a couple of determined engineers will find a way to mod the controllers to have sticks that either can't drift or do not drift as easily. So where do I stand on Switch 2? I'd say overall, heading into Nintendo's next chapter, I am cautiously optimistic. I'm trying my best not to go in with all the praise given my history of Nintendo, but I'm also trying not to go in saying all the bad things given everything that's happens. I'm trying to be as impartial as I possibly can with this, and as to whether or not things will pan out. I guess we'll just have to see. And I guess this last bit of information is that I will be doing a live stream right at midnight tomorrow. So the night of the 4th, the morning of the 5th, I'll be doing a stream to, I guess, unbox the Switch 2 and get it set up over my Twitch. I will be doing a live stream where I'll be unboxing the Switch and setting it up. Maybe play a couple of games as well, although it might be a bit late for that. I'll also see where we go from there. For anyone who was hoping to see Mario Kart World, I'm just say this now. It's not going to be there. I will be buying the game from a third-party seller on seller on eBay, so Nintendo does not make money off that sale. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all for the stream. Goodbye.